Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we look to the Suk Medical School. From the Dune Encyclopaedia, its goal was to have highly specialised physicians who could be trusted and employed by those in the imperial family and the great houses, those that could afford them. Its teaching was in Thai medicine, which would heal with herbal and natural remedies. I like how this fits into the general low-technology approach following the jihad. It's said the Thai practitioners were so skilled at recognising plants as medicines or poisons that one could travel to a strange planet with only his few personal possessions and produce an entire pharmacopoeia from the planet's natural products. In addition, practitioners were trained to recognise pharmaceutical compounds through smell, taste, and simple chemical tests. Those it produced, also in line with the responsibility of treating those of high status, will be subject to imperial conditioning. It's so that those with this could not take a human life, so they could not remove people of power from power in part of some plot. The Dune Encyclopaedia says those with complete conditioning against taking human life and overtones of loyalty to one's employer, whoever it might be. That's their definition of it. Some practitioners could be produced without conditioning if they fail the tests for the conditioning itself. They could leave entirely or become a Thai practitioner without the training. For those that proceeded with it, they would have lessons to master their self-control and courses like environmental alteration, in which the child had hung around his neck a baklava coated with powdered sugar so that even a furtive lick could be detected, which he was forbidden to eat until later. The 3 or 4-year-old learned to reduce his tensions by placing the sweet in a locker and diverting his attention with a game. In a year or so, in self-alteration, the student might come home from a day of work to find that whether he ate or fasted at supper time depended on the fall of a die. Under close scrutiny, the student's reactions were evaluated. Complaints and anger were punished, resignation or humour rewarded. This culminated in them being pushed towards showing great personal discipline. Many collapsed under this pressure, some dropping to the level 2 conditioning or being dismissed entirely. Loyalty to the group was also taught through methods like the following. For a week, a student in the group could not feed himself and had to lean on others for food and sustenance. Students would have to take part in the community to reinforce behaviour that was not wanted, and this would also allow specific knowledge to be passed along. It also taught them kindness to the imperial and great families, through, for example, those looking after the young trainees being chosen for their likenesses to those in the imperial household, and rewards being given in front of images of the rulers of the imperium, all pushing, all indoctrinating them into the goal, the idea that they cannot take a human life, especially those who look like people in the imperial families. They would then continue with advanced studies in anatomy and physiology, followed by courses in immunology, psychology, and pharmacology. Special elective courses in ultra-spare physiology, advanced pharmacology, exotic infectious diseases, and poison detection were also offered. There was also a link to the Bene Gesserit. They were taught Phi-Chi awareness of the body, which was like Prana Bindu. This would let a doctor stop their own hearts, if need be, so if there was pressure to take lives and break their oaths to the noble houses, they had this way out. After this portion of training, next was clinical studies, which were begun in surgery, emergency medicine, and brewing herbal remedies, and working under a more experienced physician that they could learn from. They would face one final test to see if their conditioning was complete, and they would get the tattoo if they passed, and that diamond stands for the Suk oath, each point of it. The oath is, I will give loyalty, I will seek knowledge, I will practice healing, and I will prolong life. The tattoo also did a little more for them. Under special microscopes and lights, all the tattoos are different and ID that specific Suk physician. And a further safeguard against those pretending to be Suk doctors was that each physician had a specific stimulus that was hypnotically implanted and could be called on to identify them uniquely, which again would allow those in authority to identify any doctor masquerading as a Suk doctor who was not. After the training, the level of conditioning the school had placed on the student determined the price that could be demanded for that student upon hiring them. The then employer would make a large payment to the school. The conditioning that the Suk doctors are placed under could be broken and was done so under the Baron Harkonnen, who was able to get Dr. Wellington Yue to betray the Atreides and put his duke in a position where he would be killed. There may have been others before that, unrecorded ones. Those who run the school may have been aware of these psychological levers, as all along Suk doctors were not encouraged, but also were not banned from marrying. This was brought in after Yue to try and save the school. Something else that helped save the school was it combined with another one, which promoted the manipulation of the body's musculoskeletal structure and utilization of vital pressure points to mobilize the body's immunological system. The schools combined, and most students opted to study both sides of the training, and thus the Suk school continued. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments, leave me some down below.